Hey man, just giving you a quick call. I just wanted to let you know that you are so close, dude. You're so much closer than you think. A lot of these big goals that we've had and these big aspirations, they're right around the corner for you, dude. So you just cannot give up. So stoked for you to see this. P.S. We bought a Lambo. So keep going, bro. We'll talk soon. Peace.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Bryson. This is the Bryson Everyday Project podcast. This podcast is a little bit different than other ones out there. Here, I only focus on documentation. I don't focus on quality or being professional or being entertaining. If that sounds like something you're interested in, I'd love for you to stick around and give the show a listen. You can also follow me on Instagram at BRQUSE. Thank you so much. Here's the show. Yo, what is going on? Raising the desk. So if you can hear it, that's what it is. So, episode 802, almost 500 days later, which is interesting on the dot. So 500 days ago, it was episode 301. I mean, technically 501 days ago, but whatever. I quit FedEx, and today, I believe I am going to actually go in and interview for another FedEx position. So, quite a step back, if you want to look at it like that. Quite a unforeseen event in the journey that we have here. But I don't know. Part of me just isn't mad about it. Part of me just isn't feeling, I don't know. You know, I talked about this where I was beating myself up about kind of feeling as though I don't have what it takes, because if I were a true entrepreneur, I would go and solve this problem and I would make the money and I would not have to get another job. But I guess, I don't know, I'm very hard on myself. So part of me still believes that. But the other part of me believes that, you know, certain things just don't work out the way you want them to. And sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do to get to the next stage of where you can do things that you do want to do. And so, I don't know. I've always said it from the start, you know, worst case scenario, I go and I get a job at FedEx and then, you know, keep on going. So that's what I am doing. I have been in the talks with my former FedEx boss, not the manager, because fuck that guy. I stand by it. And yeah, it's so interesting because I called and I quit. That's on episode 301B. Literally, the phone call is recorded. I said, hey, you doing my route? Hey, don't need to. I quit. And he says, oh, no worries. Peace. And that's how that went. And then his name is Mike. He is the Coleman owner. Reached out and he said, dude, I'm so sorry. You know, this is not the first time we've had this problem, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's recorded as well. I think that might be on 301B as well. Maybe it's on a different one, 302. I don't know. I really have no idea. And seemed like he wanted to work something out. I don't know. But it's interesting because this is not the first time this has happened. When I was in Colorado and I quit the first contractor, that's how FedEx works, there was the two people that were running the show were assholes. And then the higher up guy reached out and he was very apologetic and he said, we're so sorry. Can we give you this route? Can we make it right for you? And so it's very interesting how the low level people are pieces of garbage, but then the higher up people in these specific situations are the people who reach out and want to make it right. So it's very interesting. But anyway, so yeah, I quit. I didn't even put 2 weeks in because it was a whole bunch of horse shit. And I still got offered the job back, which is very interesting. So is that fortunate? Is that a blessing in disguise? Is that, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's in, what do they say? An attribute? Contribution? It's a, what do they say? It's a, whatever. Chalk it up to my work ethic or my character or I don't know. But anyway, I've been talking with him and why am I being so secretive? His name's Jared. He's the guy who runs the show with the specific contractor. And yeah, so I reached out to him, said, hey man, if you're looking for a driver, I'd love the opportunity. And he said, yeah, if you're blah, 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 looking over this city or this city, we got blah, blah, blah. So we went back and forth. And now, as of today, December 29th, 2025, I am in the process of getting an interview set up. And I don't even know anything about the route. I don't even know about the truck or where I'm going or the city I'm delivering or the stuff. I don't know anything But yeah, with the recent events of Trey not needing 10 hours a week anymore, because it started at 20, it dropped down to 10, and now he says that he transitioned a lot of different things from Notion into Go High Level, and a lot of the stuff that I had built he actually doesn't even need anymore, which, it sucks, but I get it, and that makes me just think about what I'm building with FitBiz. Haven't worked on it in a minute, but it is I would say it's a powerhouse of a system. There's a lot in there, and I think maybe I just didn't anticipate, or I didn't realize how big of a project that was, because there's other softwares out there that can handle a lot. I mean, I stand by it that what I have built with FitBiz is nothing like other softwares. I feel like a lot of softwares just get it so wrong with the information and how they provide, I guess, the interface and stuff like that. So I stand by it that what I have built is leaps and bounds and whatever the fuck you say better than a lot of other softwares. But a lot of other softwares integrate with everything else, and they automate everything else, and they are more built specifically for communication and financial things and tracking this and tracking that, whereas mine is purely analytics and tracking clients on the back end, because Everfit and Trainerize and programs like that, they don't track any of that stuff. It's all fitness and nutrition and workouts and all that stuff, which is great. But yeah, so anyway, so he did whatever he had to do, and that took a chunk out of my hours. He didn't say we're cutting your hours. He just said, hey, we made some movements. I know that what you have been doing is blah, blah, blah. We're not going to need that anymore. So yada, yada, yada. I know it won't be 10 hours. Just wanted to let you know. And so I just pretty much spent an afternoon last week working on some, I don't even know what you'd call it, just some polishing up, making sure things work. Found some errors within Mina's system, which is the exact same system as Trey for the most part. And then I went and fixed those. So I spent an afternoon, 5 hours. So I texted Trey, said, hey, 5 hours last week. Merry Christmas. He says, thank you so much, brother. Merry Christmas. So that being said, that put a little dent in the income, right? Because if I cut my hours in half from 40 a month to 20, that is 20 times 32, which is 640. So $640 I'm now not getting per month. So I think on paper right now I pay, or not on paper, what the fuck? Why did I even say that? I get between 510 and 600 a week from Mina. So if you average that at 550, which is 2,200 a month, and then with Trey, I would get 320 a week, and that would be 1,280 a month. So between 22 and 1,280, it was 34, 30. Why can't I do that math in my head? I feel like it's basic. 2,200 plus 3,480. Fuck. 3,480 a month is what I was making. So not much. And because Trey essentially cut my hours in half, part of me, so I could easily milk out 10 hours a week, but part of me doesn't feel right doing that, So if I can just make it 5 one week and 4 the next, and 6 the next, and whatever, gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. So rather than just saying, what the fuck, I'm out of here, I'm just gonna do what I can until maybe something doesn't work, or I don't know. So now that brings my monthly income from, what did I say, 3,480 now to, so I just got a text. He says tomorrow at 8 if that works. Seems silly, but specify AM or PM. I know it's not PM, but specify that, Such an easy thing. You put a little A or a little P. Details matter, right? Anyway, so cutting my hours down, that drops me from 1,280 to 640. So 640. So I make now, as of right now, 640 plus 2200 on average. So that would be 2840 or 28, yeah, 2840. 2840 a month is what I bring in. And that's no good. So if you chalk that up to a full year, I'm not going to do the math to get that 13th, to get the 13th paycheck in there, or I guess I don't know what I'm trying to say. When you do the math, if 12 months, there are 2 extra checks if you're biweekly, and then 4 extra checks if you're weekly. But not going to do the math for that. We're just going to chalk it up. So 2840 times 12, 34,000. So your boy makes 34K a year right now. So can't do that because I need to buy food, need to pay rent, need to not make less money, right? And you can make a lot of arguments here that I'm going about it the wrong way, that I'm not pushing hard enough with FitBiz, or I'm taking too long with this or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I just see it as a way for me to have stable income again by getting a job. And then I can kind of operate without that stress and that overwhelming or that looming feeling. What do they say? Shit, I don't know. I'm losing my mind, dude. I don't know what shit is anymore. I don't know anything. But looming? It's got to be looming. Yeah, the looming feeling of, oh shit, I have to make a sale right now or else I don't know, man. For me, I just don't like that. And so if I can kind of erase that by getting a job, then I think I'm on board with that. So right now, roughly making 34 grand a year, because that's how much my monthly checks come. I think if you round it up, I'll probably be closer to 37,000 a year. Yeah, that's shit money. I can't be doing that. So not making money. So if I kept Mina and Trey how they are and just kind of did what I could. So if I'm making this is on the low end for Mina, but if I'm making 510, which is 17 hours a week for Mina, and then 120 from Trey, which is 4 hours. And then if I work only 4 days a week for FedEx, that's about $800. And then, with taxes and all that shit, it brings it closer to 600-ish. That would be $1,230 a week, which would be $49.20. Well, it'd be $1,230 a week. So if you times that, $1,230 times that by 52, that's $63,960. So doubles my income, which is great. And obviously, I would rather not have to have a 9-to-5 again. But, 4 days a week, I can make that happen. If I did something like Tuesday through Friday, I don't know. Or just whatever days. And then, Lexi has Sunday, Monday off. And I would like to also have Sunday, Monday off as well. Even though I try to work all day on Monday, it's just, I'm home and it's nice to see her and spend time together. Even if I'm working and she's just doing her thing. So that's the goal, but I'm not going to be a beggar and a chooser here. Whatever I can get here, then I will. But yeah, I could probably work full time. I could probably work 5 days a week and I could probably make a little bit more. So if I did that, you chalk it up to $160 more a day, which is just, if you ask me, that's just so shit, So more per day, per week, this is 52. So that's an extra $8,000, $8,320. So that put me at the 70 grand mark. So that's cool. But I don't know. I'll tell you what, though. I am not freaking out. I'm not anxious. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm not feeling pissed or sad or like a failure. I really am just seeing this as kind of something that I just got to do what I got to do right now. And it's not desirable. It's not the thing that I want to do necessarily. But I have to do something. I have to pay bills. I live with my best friend, and she deserves somebody who can at least pay for their goddamn own shit, their goddamn own shit, their own goddamn shit. And I don't know. I've said it so much on the show, but the worst case scenario is I go back to FedEx. That's the worst case scenario. And it turns out the worst case scenario did happen, but I don't know. Who knows how long this is going to last? I mean, this is not my first time quitting a job and having to get hired again. Is this the, I guess this is the second time. This is the second time. I quit my job once before and then had to get a job again. But yeah, it's funny because from the start, I also said that I didn't feel like that chapter was over. Maybe I manifested that shit into reality, but I don't know. I don't even remember the last time I drove. It was over 500 days ago. I know that, but I don't know. So definitely don't want this to be, how my life ends. And I know it won't be. I just got to keep pushing. But who knows, man? I don't know. There's a lot of cool things that I want to do. And there's a lot of, I don't know. So I do, speaking about this, I guess from a very mature standpoint of just growing older and having not only myself to worry about, but also Lexi. Now, again, I want to say that she pays for her own shit. I pay for my own shit. The only things that we really split are the bills of the house and groceries and rent. So it's not like, I don't know. It's not like we have a conjoined bank account where she can't do whatever if I don't work, because she has a full-time job. She's very successful at what she does. And she can support herself. And I don't want to have to make her support me. First of all, that's quite a hit to the ego because I'm supposed to be the provider, right? Ideally, I do all the work and she doesn't have to if she doesn't want to. I actually talked about this before. So it's not like this only affects me now. It affects another human being. And so I think that is part of what I was just saying about the getting older and I guess maturing. I don't know, just kind of how I see it. When I was moving around from here to St. George to Arizona to another spot in Arizona to Colorado, getting different contractor jobs in Colorado, then moving home, living with family, then moving out on my own, and then moving into a place with my girlfriend. All of that only affected myself and my future. And then I moved in here with Lexi. And this is not anything to do with Lexi. It's just the observable truth. If I live with another human being and we have agreed that I pay this much and they pay this much, I need to make sure that I can afford to do that. It's my part of the deal, right? So got to do what you got to do, So yeah, I mean, it sucks, dude. It does suck, but I'd rather be able to, I guess, focus in on, I don't know, what I need to do and what I need to work on and not have to have that looming feeling of dread or the inevitable time bomb of explosion that is going to happen because I can't pay this or I can't pay that or I put too much here or didn't pay this on time and now this, I don't know. So part of me is relieved in some sense that I have this opportunity. The other part of me is kind of bummed, but I do believe that this is a good thing. I do believe, in some ways this is kind of an ego check. Maybe it's a humility check as well. Maybe it is just making my story later in life cooler because I quit my job, everything was great, and then lost my job, everything was not great. What did I just say? Quit my job, everything was great, and then I I guess technically I lost a job in a sense. And everything was not great, And so, I mean, there's so many lessons that I can take from this. One being I put my trust, or not my trust, I started building something off of somebody else's foundation. So that what I mean is with Dawson, I was getting $2,000 a month from him. So I put a lot of weight on what I was building into the fact that I had a secure position there. And because I built it on somebody else's foundation, they can control what goes on. So if they don't need me anymore, then there I go, just like that. And that's exactly what happened. And same thing with Trey, he doesn't need me as much anymore. So there goes that. And so I do feel differently about Mina because he is killing it. He's doing really well. Hypes me up often in the Zoom calls. And I even said to him on a text message, I said, where is it? Let's see where it is. He said, so this was December 17th, where we had a call scheduled. He says, yo, was there anything specific you wanted to discuss on our call, or do you want to work through that time? I said, honestly, not really, man, but I will say I've been feeling a bit insecure lately with my position with MeFit. LOL, if everything is running smooth and no one needs anything, it makes you feel as though I'm not needed, which in some ways is terrific, but you and Trey are affording me rent, food, a car, etc. Don't want to lose my, quote, job here because things are great. He says, ha ha ha, I get it, bro, and trust me, I understand. I still think we are getting good things going on, and I have some more ideas on things we need as well. And then he said, I personally think you're waiting too long to make a sale, but that's just me. And so I take that, what he said, I'm waiting too long to make a sale. And part of that, I would say, there is some truth to that. I wouldn't say I'm waiting, though. I honestly feel like priorities have shifted for sure. And if that means I make less money and I am not, quote, successful sooner rather than later, then it is what it is. But I don't want to, this is how I see it. So I could theoretically right now reach out to 100 coaches, make one sale, and there's $5,000 that would afford me another month. But that also makes it so, and this is for Notion. This is not for the thing that I've been building with FitBiz, which is its own website and software, whatever. And that would require me to kind of babysit the whole Notion thing, because I didn't know this before I set it up with Trey and Mina. But first of all, setting it up is a bitch. I have episodes about this. It took almost 10 hours to do each one. I don't want to do that ever. And then from there, it's just all these small little fixes and errors. And everything that I fixed for Mina and Trey right now, the fixes have been on their own system. So if I want to fix everything on my own system, I'd have to then go back onto my own and update it for a third time. And I just learned something in a very, very hard way, which is don't put all your work and effort into one thing that you can't just quickly copy paste or whatever. I mean, I can copy paste everything I built, but everything from that point on is completely independent from everything else. So everything that I've given to Trey is now, every edit that I make in Trey or Mina's thing is theirs. So if I find a huge bug and I go and I try to fix it for Mina, I then have to do that for Trey, then I have to do it for my own thing, then I have to do that for Bob, then I have to do that for John. And one fix, whereas, one fix in Notion, which should take seconds if I have my own software, now takes hours because I have to go through and manually do it every single time for every single person. I don't want to do that anymore. So again, going back to what I was saying, I could theoretically reach out to 100 people, make one sale, be good for a month, and then kind of be tied down to doing that. And I guess I would just rather not make the money and then also not have to do all this shit with Notion. So maybe that's stupid to some people. I don't know. But for me, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm entitled or being a little piece of spoiled garbage, but I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do. There's pros and cons and consequences to doing things or not doing things. And the consequences of me not pushing to doing something such as selling Notion are I don't make the money. And that means I probably have to get a job, which I am in the middle of doing. And I think I'm just cool with that, And I think what has kind of made things harder is I'm listening to what other people are saying of, what are you doing? I thought you were going to make this thing and then sell it. And then I thought, you're taking too long, where's the video? Hire somebody out. And for me, I don't know. I just don't want to do that. Part of me would rather have this app that I can, what I'm talking about with Blade, and use it every day, post about it every day, actually change my own life with it. And if I can just get 1,000 people on planet Earth to use it, then we're set. I mean, even 500 people. I mean, truthfully speaking, I would need 500 people to make a living. 500 people. 500 people? That's it? I mean, shit. For example, let's just look up I'm going to pull up somebody and put them on the spot. So first person that comes to mind right now is my cousin Miley for some reason. So if I look at her profile, she's got 860 followers. I just need her followers to buy my shit and I'm set. 860 people. That's a lot of money, Okay, what if we went like this? What if we went to Lexi's thing? Alexis, she looks like she has 890. So I just need Miley's and Lexi's followers to subscribe to my shit. Now, what if we get Jake? What's Jake doing? Jake's got 667. So boom, we get those 3 followings to subscribe to my shit. That's 2,000 people. That's 40 grand a month minus 30% to give to Apple. And that would be $28,000. So all we got to do is convert 3 people's followings to my shit and we're good. And I don't know. There's just something about that strikes me as more of a long-term play than selling something today for 5 grand and then selling something tomorrow for 5 grand. I don't know. So that's just what I truly believe. If I'm being 100% honest, which I feel like I have to be on this podcast, it's documentation. That's the whole point, right? If I made 10 sales today and I made $50,000 today, and then I also had 5 grand on repeat coming for the recurring subscription, if that's what happened, we'll just actually get rid of that. We'll just say I made 50 grand today. Would I seriously be bummed? Would I be bummed about it? Well, I wouldn't be bummed about making 50 grand because that'd be crazy. That'd be amazing. I would love that. But the thought of then being tied down to making sure that all 10 of these people, plus Trey, plus Mina, are taken care of with Notion, and that every time I need to make one edit or one change, I have to do that now 12 times. And every time somebody wants something custom, I have to remember that, keep track of that, make sure that, if I make certain automation different from everybody else's, I just have to remember that, take note of it, whatever, nothing crazy. But it's going to be different from everybody else's. So then they're going to kind of have their own small little mini path of things that I have to fix and whatever else. And I don't want to do that. And I guess that's not worth 50 grand to me. 50 grand can do a lot. I could pay off all my debt. I could pay off my car. I guess that's part of my debt. So I could pay off all my debt. And I wouldn't owe anything to anybody or any banks. All my loans would be paid off. I'd probably have extra to buy a new couch or something like that. And I just don't want to be tied down to that. I would just rather not. 50 grand and all this extra work, or no extra work and no 50 grand. That's what it is. You have 50 grand in work on one hand and no 50 grand and no work on the other. Not saying that I don't want to work, but this specific thing, I don't know. In my brain, it's just, it doesn't work in my brain. So I don't know if that delays me making the money and the fortune and all that shit and making an impact or not an impact. I feel like I make an impact with this stuff more, but I don't know. I don't know, but I tell you what I do know. I'm doing good. I'm there. I'm cool. Everything's great. I'm not putting on a front right now to say that I'm rough and tough and I can handle setbacks and blah, blah, blah. I don't even feel like this is a setback necessarily. I almost feel like this is a good thing because I'm not going to have to stress about money. The other part is, so this is interesting because I don't want to share this because I know Lexi is listening, but I feel as though I have to remain a certain way because Lexi's my girlfriend. I fully intend to have a future with her, fully intend to get married, fully intend to have kids. Absolutely. She is wonderful. I don't want her to ever see me stressed about our situation. I don't want her to see me freaking out over, holy shit, I'm not going to be able to pay for this. Can you help? Or I'm not going to be able to afford rent this month. Can you pay extra? I'm not going to be able to. I don't want her to even see for a split second that I am stressed about us. No matter how much, so Lexi is very, very, what's the word? Very, accepting, if that's the right word, of me showing emotions. She says she loves it. I can't remember what she said specifically, but she's not oh my hell, you're crying, what a weak bitch. She's not that way at all, which, I mean, I guess that's good. But there is something that is much deeper when you show emotion, I believe, because when things arise in the future, it removes that assurity or confidence of us or whatever. Because if I were to cry and say, fuck, I'm not gonna be able to afford this, oh my hell, I'm a failure, I don't know, that doesn't exude confidence. That doesn't say, hey, I can figure my shit out. That doesn't say, hey, I've got us covered. That, if anything, I mean, she can be as loving and accepting of that as she wants. But so I got a call from toll free. They cut out right there. Sorry, I got to listen to this horse shit.
And I look forward to speaking with you. Press 9 if you wish to be removed.
You've been placed on
God
a
damn
list.
So anyway, back to what I was saying. Lexi is not that way whatsoever. I know she'd be loving and accepting and probably make you feel better. But I don't think that is a good thing, because that just creates a lack of confidence in the future. So if something goes wrong, maybe part of her would think, oh shit, something's going wrong. He doesn't even think he can do this or whatever else. He blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. That's really an unfinished thought. I'm not really sure what I believe in there. But I do believe 100% that it just brings down the confidence that she has in me, which is ultimately us. Because if this is a better example. So if I'm scared of someone breaking into the house, if she's scared of somebody breaking into the house, but I am not, that creates comfort and a security blanket and a feeling of safety for her. Likewise, if I'm with a big burly man and he's got 100 guns, I'm probably going to feel safe because he's got his shit. But if he's feeling scared, then I'm probably going to feel a little bit less confident in our security or whatever the situation is. So likewise, me with her, if I'm scared and I can't handle someone breaking in, or if I'm not prepared to blast someone in the face for trying to assault, I don't know, then who the fuck is going to protect us, And so I feel like that's an obligation and the duty of the man in the relationship. That's what I believe. So that's a much better example. So I believe to I guess to a certain extent that it is detrimental to the relationship for me to ever show how scared or how stressed, or I mean, maybe not stressed, but how dare I say the word anxious? Why does everybody have anxiety now? God damn. My anxiety won't let me. Shut the fuck up. And I said, that's what I get for my bad. But I don't know. That's just what I think. So going back to what I was saying, I know that Lexi listens to these, but I don't want to show any kind of stress or any kind of unsurety, if that's even the word, unsureness of us. I don't want her to think, holy shit, I got to pay for more. So I went and got a job. Everything's solved. My problem, I got to deal with it. I think it begins and ends there. So anyway, that's what I think. So, but yeah, anyway, everything is good. I truthfully feel good about everything. I'm glad to have this feeling of almost like a ticking time bomb going off of when I won't be able to afford things, And it is a nice ego check. It is a nice humility check, or humilityometer, humilityometer. I don't know. But anyway, so speaking of all this, they said, can you come in at 8 tomorrow? I was thinking tomorrow at 8 if that works. Yeah, that works great. What's the address and where do I need to go? Also, what is the protocol for getting inside with the security and such? Thanks. Dude, the people who monitor the gates at FedEx, man, such assholes. If you don't have your card, they really try to, where's your card? Well, you're supposed to have your card. Look at my face. Look what I'm wearing. Look at my badge. Huh? I'm in and out of here 400 times a year, bro. It's me. I don't know. I get it. I got to be secure. I fully understand. But fuck. Okay, well, anyway. So, yeah, I guess we could sum this whole thing up with taking a step back, but perhaps it's a good thing. I enjoy the job of FedEx. I enjoy the I guess the blue collar of it, the labor or I don't know, the activeness of it. I take pride in it. I know it's a hard job, and when the guy that came and delivered my workout set, when he said that he's thinking about quitting, he hates it. It's a hard job and it's not for everybody. And I get that, but I don't know. I think part of me misses being out there running, lifting heavy stuff and putting stuff and doing stuff with my hands. I think part of me misses that feeling of being active like that, because when I was driving, I rarely ever walked. So I would just jog from the truck to the door, jog back, and then I would go to the next one. And I'd repeat. And I would do that for 5 to 10 hours a day, depending on the size of or how many packages I had to deliver. So, but yeah, I'm definitely going to take the position if they offer it. I would rather not do the slow, crummy business stuff, or I would rather do all the crummy, slow business stuff if that was the expectation and that is kind of how I did the job. It's always shitty when you're going fast as hell and you're doing the neighborhoods and you are, I don't know, just going quick, and then you have to drive, I don't know, a couple miles to go deliver to a couple businesses, because that shit slows you down. There's nothing like having 30 or 40 stops an hour and then having to take a little break and then you get 2 stops done in 20 minutes. Fuck that. I either want all businesses, so the expectation is I'm slow as fuck, or I want no businesses, all houses, so the expectation is I'm fast as fuck. That's what I want. So we will see what they say. So tomorrow, 8 a.m., I guess I'll find out. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got for today. I'm just working on getting the sign-in stuff done. I think I talked about it yesterday, but can't get it to create an account for some reason. So I've been working on that, running different prompts, I guess, at it. Let's actually see what happens. So I recently ran one. I haven't done it. I haven't ran it. I haven't tried since I started this episode. So let's see. They just asked me if I still had my badge. I think I do. Hold on, let me try to sign in. Sign up. Creating an account created successfully. Dude, something's going on. It just will not. All sign-in attempts failed. User may not be confirmed yet. Sign-up error, unable to sign in after account creation. Sign-up error, unable to sign in after account creation. Yeah, just say the same thing 500 times. That's great debugging. Yeah, so we will figure this out. Anyway, that is the show. That's all I got. Thank you guys for listening. Talk to you later. Peace.